Hello friends, welcome to this video. I am Rohit. Hope you are doing good. Friends, in today's video, we are going to discuss how we can configure DNS, that is Domain Name Service, in Packet Tracer. So in today's video, first of all, we will understand what is DNS. Then we will understand basics of DNS. And at the end of video, I will show you practical demonstration regarding configuring DNS in Packet Tracer. So let's start the video, friends, by understanding what is DNS. So first of all, DNS stands for Domain Name Service, or it is also referred as Domain Name System. So DNS is a hierarchical and distributed or decentralized naming system. So this naming system works for different computers, different services of internet, and various resources that are available on internet. So to access computers, to access services, and to access various resources on internet, this naming service is useful. So DNS basically translates the human readable domain name like example.com, google.com, youtube.com into their respective IP addresses. So friends, we can access internet, its resources, its services with their IP addresses, but DNS makes it more comfortable, more easy by allowing to use domain name which are more easy to work with, which are more easy to remember. So here domain name is basically a string that is mapped to a specific IP address like google.com. So this is one domain name. So this domain name is mapped to its specific IP address like this. So friends, take the example of google.com. So whenever we want to open Google homepage, what we do, we just enter this domain name within our browser's address bar. So this is much more easier than typing this numerical IP address. This is what the main job of DNS. So it actually maps the domain name to its respective IP address. So friends, as we knew, every device that is getting connected to internet having certain unique IP address with which other machines will be identifying that device in the global network. So friends, here the DNS server is actually eliminating the need of remembering the IP addresses which are available in numerical or in alphanumerical forms. So for example, this IP version 4 address you can observe, or this IP version 6 address you can observe. So these are quite difficult to remember them, and with these numbers accessing internet is horrible. So that's why for our help we have an DNS. So here we will try to understand one analogy, and the analogy is of phone book. So DNS is like a phone book. Now what phone book contains? So it contains the person names and their phone numbers. So what we do, we remember the person names, not their numbers, and we search the specific person name and automatically we get their phone numbers. So in the same way, DNS is a phone book for internet. DNS is actually translating the domain names to the IP addresses, or DNS is actually mapping a domain name to IP addresses. So here same thing we are trying to show you. So DNS is actually mapping the domain name like google.com to their specific IP addresses. So DNS is storing all this detail in form of records. So whenever any query comes to it for mapping domain name to IP, it uses these records where all details of mapping is stored. So friends, this is basically DNS. Now let's try to understand basics of DNS. So first of all, we have domain names. So what domain names are, already we told you, these are basically strings that are getting mapped to specific IP addresses, and these domain names are for humans. So as we discussed, like remembering numbers is quite difficult. So what we can remember? We can remember certain strings, and that is nothing but a domain name. So example, we have given you google.com, youtube.com, facebook.com. These are all domain names. So whenever we try to access them, so what DNS do? It maps this specific domain name to their specific IP addresses. So DNS contains the hierarchy of domains. So at the top we have top level domains, that is TLD. So example like .com, .org, .net, and we also have specific domains within the DNS. So next to that we have DNS servers. So friends, domain name system operates with a network of servers. So whenever we are trying to access any host, any service, any resource on internet, and we enter its domain name, then our computer forwards this query to a DNS resolver. So job of DNS resolver is to find out the IP address of a requested domain name, and it takes help of network of servers which it has. Next concept we have hierarchy. So DNS follows the hierarchical structure with different types of DNS server. At the top of hierarchy we have root DNS servers. So these servers contains all the information about the top level domains. Below to that we have top level domain servers, which is responsible for handling information about top level domains like .com, .org, .net, etc. And finally there are authoritative DNS servers that are responsible for holding or storing the specific IP address information for specific domains. Now in the basics we will try to understand now a resolution process. So friends, first of all we will try to understand what is a resolution process. So it is a process of mapping domain name to its respective IP address. So for example, we are trying to open google.com in our browser. So how it will map, how it will find the specific IP of Google server through the resolution process, that we will try to understand. So friends, whenever we will enter google.com in our browser, our computer will check whether this domain name is already available within its cache. If yes, then it will return the corresponding IP address immediately. If not, then it will forward the DNS query to DNS resolver. So DNS resolver knows how to map domain name to specific IP address. So whenever query comes to DNS resolver, it will also check its own cache whether the entry is available or not. If not, then query will be forwarded to the root servers which are available at the top of hierarchy in the domain name system for finding the specific top level domain servers. Then next to that, it will check the top level domain servers for a requested specific domain. At last, the authoritative DNS servers will provide the IP address associated with the requested domain like google.com. So this is how the domain name is resolved by the DNS. Now next basic concept we have caching. So friends, DNS resolver is handling thousands of queries. So to speed up the operation, it uses the caching mechanism. So whatever recently accessed DNS records it has, it stores it in cache. So whenever in future same request will be coming to it, it is simply returning a result from its cache. so user will get the faster response. So this caching mechanism is used by DNS for reducing the time needed for resolving domain name to the IP, or time required for mapping domain name to the IP. So this caching mechanism is used for most frequently visited websites, most popularly visited websites. So friends, these are the fundamentals of DNS. So overall we can say DNS is a critical infrastructure for an internet, and DNS is ensuring us mapping of domain name into their specific IP addresses, and it is making accessing internet more easy. So friends, this was little bit overview of what is DNS. Now I will take you to Packet Tracer, and there we will try to demonstrate you how we can configure DNS. So friends, we have a blank workspace over here. So first of all, we will add one generic server in our workspace. Next to that, now we will place few machines. Now we will quickly connect them. Like this. Now friends, here we will place nodes, so we will be able to understand this network scenario. So this is our DNS server, and let's say its IP is 192.168.10.10. Now it has one interface with which it is connecting to the switch. So let's say here we will have IP 192.168.10.1, and here we will assume IPs for these machines 192.168.10.5, and this will be 192.168.10.6. So here what we are going to do now, first of all we will enable the DNS service on this server, and we will configure its IP address. So we will go to desktop IP configuration. Now here the IP address we have for our DNS server is 192.168.10.10. Now default gateway we will have 192.168.10.1, and DNS server 192.168.10.1, and the DNS server address we have 192.168.10.10, which is server itself. So this is how we have configured the IP for our DNS server. Now next thing we have to do here, as this is a generic server, in a services tab we have all these various services available on this server. So here right now we are interested in DNS service. So here right now it is off, so we will turn it on first of all, and now we will add few records over here. So first record will be of DNS server itself. So let's say its name is DNS server, and what IP we have for that, 192.168.10.10. So click on add. So this is the first record we have added. Second record we will add for this first machine, that is PC0. So let's say its name is PC0, and its IP is 192.168.10.5. Now click on add. This is the second record we have added. Now third record will be for PC1. Its IP we will add 192.168.10.6. So click on save. Now here the DNS configuration is completed. So we will close this. Now we will configure our PC0. So desktop IP configuration. So first of all, put the IP of that machine 192.168.10.5. Now here default gateway we have to put 192.168.10.1. Now here we have to put the IP of our DNS server. So 192.168.10.10 is IP. So like this, the configuration is completed for PC0. Now we will configure PC1. So its IP is 192.168.10.6. Now here default gateway we have to enter 192.168.10.1, and here we will have the address of DNS server 192.168.10.10. So friends, in this way the configuration of second machine also completed. Now we will try to ping the PC1 from PC0 with its name. So we will go to command prompt, and here we will try to type ping PC1 and hit enter. Now friends, you can see we are getting reply from 192.168.10.6, which is actually PC1. So here we have access PC1 by its name, not by IP. So this is actually the mapping. So this PC1 name is mapped to this IP by DNS. So vice versa we will try to do now. So we will go to PC1 and we will try to access PC0 here, ping PC0. So you can see we are getting reply from 10.5, which is our PC1. So friends, this is how we have configured a basic DNS within the packet tracer. So friends, if you find this video useful, please like and share this video. If you are visiting this channel first time, please subscribe our channel and hit the bell icon. So whenever we will upload new video, you will get the notification. So friends, thank you for watching. I will see you in next video.